Brian Powell of I Run Far here with Megan Kimmel before the 2017 Zegama Marathon. How are you, Megan?
I'm doing great, Brian.
How was your winter?
The winter was good. Action-packed, a lot of moving around, and yeah, it just flew by. Definitely a little too fast.
I think in talking to you last year, you were sort of striving for a simpler life, but it sounds like your off-season was a little more complicated than you planned.
Yeah, I know. I'm still striving for that simpler life, and I think I'm getting there, but there's been a lot of complexities on the way. I moved twice, basically, in the last 6 months, but I am happy for all the change.
And this winter, did you end up, I know in the past you've done a good amount of skiing. Did you get some in this past winter?
Yeah, I definitely got a fair amount of skiing in, but called it kind of good at the beginning of March, which was earlier than I was wanting to. But I think I got my running legs on, and that's the most important thing for this summer.
Yeah, you've already had at least one race this spring. You won the Yading Sky Race again. How was that adventure?
Oh, that's great. I mean, that's one of the best cultural experiences as far as racing goes in my mind. So it was a pleasure to be back there and in such a beautiful place. But the running itself goes, I definitely felt like it was a really early season and it wasn't exactly the confidence booster I was looking for, but I'm not worried. It's still early season.
So a win, but not as strong as last year, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. I pulled off the win, but I just didn't feel as strong. I don't know if it's because it was the second time I was out there or what the story was, but I enjoyed the day a lot. So I don't know. Maybe I could have pushed myself harder, but yeah, I got it done.
Did you get a chance to do any more adventuring than you did last year?
Let's see here. We not really as much as I would have liked to. I ended up making that a really short trip. I wanted to spend a few more days there, but just some things back home kind of shortened the trip quite a bit. And I went a little bit further on one of the trails, but I didn't really get to do one of the big coral loops that I wanted to do. And we did so much last year in that very small area that to do more, I just need more time. So I would be happy to go back there next year and maybe spend a couple nights out in the woods and see some more of the area. Yeah,
that area of sort of western Sichuan, Tibetan Plateau is just spectacular.
Yeah, it really is.
It's hard finding a hotel anywhere else at 14,000 feet and then going up from there.
Yeah, and that's a factor too, you know, a couple days, like actually when your hotel's at 14,000 feet, even coming from altitude, it really takes it out of you. So I cut down to town definitely a few days prior to the race just to be feeling better.
Yeah, and did you do some other adventuring with Solomon before or after the race?
The plan was to be doing some adventuring with the Solomon team, but once again, some factors back home made me stay closer to home, and so I look forward to more of that in the future.
Yeah. Now, I think, again, sort of in the past, you've talked about maybe wanting to race a little bit less or be a little more selective with racing, and as last year continued on, it seemed like you had the regular Megan Kimmel schedule of a lot of races, and maybe you got a little tired at the end. Was that the case?
Well, actually, my first move involved a house. Moving out of a house and into a new house, and I actually got pretty slammed with renovations that needed to be done in a short time frame. So I was working a lot and doing a lot of physical labor, really hard on my back, and I know for sure that was a factor with the Moab race. And then I wasn't training enough for North Face, so that was way more the factor than any kind of like sight level as far as racing goes or any kind of fitness thing. My fitness just went downhill.
Just life, yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Well, you're here, you're strong. Last year, I think weather was a bit of a factor. Was that the case?
Yeah, last year it was freezing cold up high. I guess I just didn't put a layer on quite early enough, and it affected about 6 miles of my race. So, oh man, that was a bummer. I felt good that day. So I'm hoping to feel good this year, and I don't think the weather's supposed to be that cold. That was pretty abnormal, and so even if it rains, I'm good with that. And if it's sunny, we could hopefully have some fast times.
You know, if it's not too hot. I mean, that's kind of seems to have been a factor here the last couple of days, being in the mid-90s maybe.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe that. It's the hottest day I've been out was yesterday, and when we were looking at the forecast, we couldn't really figure out if it was supposed to be 93 here today or not, because that's hot.
It's really hot, and it's supposed to sort of stay that way into the weekend. So
yeah, but we're going for a noon run today after a couple things this morning. So we're going to test the waters to see how hot it really is out there.
And have you got any hot training days back at home yet?
No, it's been kind of a cold and windy and wet spring around home. So yesterday was the hottest day I've been out probably since February when it was hot in Colorado during the ski season.
So yeah, you're jumping right into the deep end here. Now, and have you made any, you got to see the course twice now because you ran it a number of years ago and then last year. Any tips for specifically preparing for Zegama?
Well, I mean, you know, to be working on uphill and vertical training is always key for sky racing, which I find is actually kind of challenging early in the season, especially kind of in Colorado or maybe around the United States. And yeah, this is this course has a pretty technical section, so just to be aware and train for that as well as you need to. And of course, it's also 42K, so it's not short. You know, you definitely need to have some endurance underneath you to pull off a decent race the whole time.
So a lot of factors for an early season race.
I think so, yeah.
And what brought you back here?
Oh man, I just love like Spain and Zegama. The energy at this race is just incredible. It's just such an experience, and of course, it's part of the Sky Series, so I'm signed up.
You're signed up. This is the kick. Oh, actually, this will be your second race in the Sky Series this year.
Mm-hmm.
And you've already won one race. Try to make it 2 this weekend.
I'd love to. Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. Well, best of luck, Megan. Thank you
Thanks so much, Brian.